All right, guys. Crazy here. Just wanted to go over the negative res build that we decided to mess with. So when you do this, just to start with stats, so like we're at negative 673. Sometimes it goes a little higher than that, and then the damage reduction with Rugel's, of course. We have the Rugel's buff. Max physical. Magic's almost there. Sometimes depending on what we put on, it goes there. Got damage reduced. Faster recovery. And then if you go down to the bottom here, we got portion of damage mitigated 15% and all this. This is all from the incarnation tree. Damage to the mana and whatnot. So somebody will ask like, well, how do you live with this much res resist down? And this is how you do it. You have to first you want to have this maxed out, and then just everything else I go over here. So I wanted to go a little bit goofy with the build. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this on. So this with Babylons. I decided to try out the Gurag's ring I was using. It's just for the all damage reduce mainly, and then because we were stacking vitality anyway. And I wanted to try out kind of using a vitality stacker. Now this doesn't need to be that. This is still the same relic build I was using earlier. With the first video. This is just kind of like the finalized version of it. I just thought it was pretty cool to be able to get like 124,000 hit points here with like 59,000 mana. And the reason why it's important, especially for the mana increase and whatnot, is because scaling your relic damage is actually kind of tough. And before we were only at like 8 million damage or whatnot. Now took it all the way up to like 12, 14, 15, 16. You can go up pretty high with it. And then also I thought it was kind of cool to be able to try out Dragon Knight's Vanguard. I never really able to use this with anybody. And when you have this much hit points, figured why not? And you're going to get hit pretty hard anyway, randomly, since you have the reduced resistances. And then just Sanguine Bloodstone to try out the Vitality and whatnot. Depending on how I'm kind of set up, sometimes I'm running just the Babylons or whatnot, or we might use the Dragon Knights. Depends on how much hit points or how much damage we want to do. I mean, definitely the Dragon Knights does a lot more, but it just depends on how you kind of want to run it. You do more than enough like this, and Babylons is hard to get anyway, so this is an easy chest. Another thing I kind of figured out to do that was kind of interesting was just turning into this bird form here. Because you're running across the map on your feet anyway because of the low cast speed, and it was pretty good. So if you do get like a Stormhawk, I thought it was kind of fun. All right, so how low res build is gonna work? You get a lot of hit points off of it. You get a lot of mana off of it. You do take more damage, but there's ways to take care of that. Mainly in your incarnation tree here. So as soon as you start going into the negative reses, that's going to be down here in this tree. You're going to get power of mitigation to help you with the damage mitigated, and then I'm using a dual wand build, but sometimes I'll just switch to the shield when I need the damage reduction, and you get that extra 15% damage mitigated. So that'll be a total of 30% off the tree, and then all of this negative res here is going to increase your damage you do. It's also going to increase your maximum life. So that's how we're getting to the maximum life number here. Over here, you got Vital Spirituality. This is going to increase your maximum life, or increase your mana based off of your maximum life. And then down here, you're going to increase your maximum life based off your mana. You kind of got to go to these areas anyway to get the rest of the build, so pretty good to invest in those. Over here, you're getting your life back when you get hit from just getting mana overflow. So any mana overflow on your gear is really good. Like right here, you'll see I put 5% of damage taken recoup his mana, because it actually increases our healing. And then 25% of the damage taken is drained from mana instead. A little bit more life replenish here, and then you get the life replenish from the Colossus stacks. So this is all the damage mitigation mainly. You get a lot of hit points, you get a lot of mana out of this. And why this is important is because scaling the relics, or any build that doesn't really use like the nodes on the tree here to scale their damage, you're going to want to figure out ways to get damage out of the nodes like maximum mana and whatnot. And we don't have the mana stacker chest, which if we did, we already have like 60,000 mana. So if we had the mana stacker chest, we'd have so much mana that these mana stacking nodes that I've spec'd into already a few times, they'd be crazy. We'd just be doing so much more damage. Anyway, still the same kind of build. We're doing the dual wands. Over here, I decided to, for this kind of build where we're doing the negative res, get the extra damage from the mana nodes, of course, because we have so much extra mana. Over here, we're just kind of stacking the stats, extra damage from here, and the damage taken reduced is healed. So for the most part, you're getting most of your damage so far, at least where we're at with our hero levels, from the negative all resistance, that is increased damage. This is kind of a build for a character that's probably over level 115 heroes, because if you've been playing a character as a main for a while this season, which I've been switching around, you're going to be a lot higher level than that. And this is kind of an end game build 100%. Like if you're going to be using the Lucifer's Crown for a build, it's more of an end game build. Last few points we're going to put in here is the maximum damage increased and maximum damage reduction increased here. So both of these are going to help us be a little bit more tanky. As for the gear here, as you've seen, we were using the Vanguard whatnot, or you can use your choice of chest piece. The Arcanist Wrath does work, but you want to get as low resistance on everything as you can. And that's kind of one of the weird things that you have to do with the build, is looking for low resist. So I threw Steve's necklace on. This is mainly because we needed the physical and magical damage taken reduced. The Thoth necklace does a lot more damage. Yeah, it increases the damage dramatically. So if you want to do more damage, you can set that up or whatnot. But if you want to be a little bit more tanky, because you're going to be doing enough damage anyway, then go for the Steve's necklace. And you're scaling a lot of attributes anyway, so this is going to help. Annihilator's not really needed since the all-res kind of interferes with the build. But because the all attributes are so big, just threw it in here. Not needed as well. But all the attributes, all the HP and everything are pretty big for us. Here's the Chaos Gemstone that we're using. It's just a powerful one. Few things that you're going to use that the build uses that not everybody does with anything else is Graxi's Charm is used for all the time. You want that negative all res down. Your Fulgurite, you want to get a low res as possible one. It's still a good 2-socket charm, so getting like a 3% all res one is it's extremely powerful for this. And then a Finger of Despair. If you can get a Finger of Despair, especially if you're a shaman that has a teleport ability, that's going to be your best. But the all res resistance down, that's why we're getting this. So pretty much you're trying to get as much of all of your gear with low resistance, which is kind of weird because you don't usually do that. But that's what you're going for here. Another pair of boots that you're going to use is the Terex Trade-Off. So these can roll pretty high with the all resistance down, and they also can roll pretty high with the all attributes. So you want to get one that has as high as possible, all attributes, as high as possible, low res, and then as low as possible, physical damage taken reduced, because you really don't want that stat high. Throw all that together, and you pretty much have negative res build. It mainly Lucifer's Crown and Terex Trade-Off is the big thing you're using with the Finger of Despair. Some stuff I like to throw into mine was the Girdle of Eternal War. We already have so much hit points that it just helps. But I also like the movement phasing. A lot of other belts work a lot better. It's just the movement phasing for me is really nice on this. Rings. If you want to do a lot of damage, you're going to throw in things like the arcane damage rings and whatnot. Or just whatever ring you're using for your build. You do not have to be a relic build for this. This can be like anything. So any kind of character that you're using that you just want more damage from, or you want to do something kind of goofy, this is what you can do. And the big thing we're doing it for is for the functionality of the extra mana and whatnot, so we can get that extra damage. And I also want to try a Vite Stacker, and this seemed like a good time to try it out. Let me throw that on since that's what we're using. Now, Terex Trade-Off, Lucifer's Crown are the only kind of required things for the build. If you want to get to that negative res cap where you're actually seeing results that are pretty nice, then and you're already in the negative res, might as well just go as much as you can. So get a Lucifer's Crown, extremely expensive. That's why I say this is an in-game build. If you want to try out the build before Lucifer's Crown, Tarek's trade-off, Finger of Despair and whatnot is a lot cheaper. So you can try it out, see what it feels like for you, but you're not going to get that massive hit point bonus and whatnot without the really, really low res cap. One thing about the build that is interesting is when you go into a satanic area, and it's the negative res area, you actually become stronger. So that's pretty interesting. Gloves can be almost anything. You could use like Shadow Cultist Wrap, anything that just doesn't give you res. So I went with Sand Manipulator's Authority since we already had these on another character. And I needed the Arcane Resistance down for this build. And we already have so much intelligence that I just wanted to have that convert go. And the end game of the build is to have the node for attack speed to magic damage. So this is going to help with that as well. You still go with the 2 wands, but because we spec into the node where a shield actually helps you out, this does do better single target damage. I've tried it out a few times. So you can skip 1 wand for a shield if you want to do like bossing. And this is also going to give you that 15% more damage mitigation from our incarnation tree. So that's a pretty big deal. So picking up a good shield, something with as low res as possible. This is as low res as I could get on a Celestial's Authority. 20%. 17% is the lowest, but that's what I could get there. And then pretty much just kind of mix and match for whatever you kind of want for your low res. But this is the best setup I could come up with for the massive amount of hit points, movement phasing, and then also trying out the vitality stacking because I thought that'd be pretty interesting. As for relics, if you're going to do the relic build, the only thing I'd switch out that I've done so far is maybe try out a different element for the honeybee if you don't care about shooting over walls. And then get rid of the mini sect and use the skull bat. The skull bat has a better attack, so don't worry about using the mini sect. Only things required for the build, if you want to do the relic version of this, is you have to have the mysterious monkey paw, the Dybbuk box, and then witch's wand. At least one witch's wand. So that's kind of a bummer that you have to use this Dybbuk box and the witch's wand, but that's what the relic build is. If you're just using if you just want to know how negative res work, then the big part of the video for you is just going to be the incarnation tree and seeing how, hey, getting all that extra mana, you do get to spec into the mana areas, because you're getting a ton. And then being able to get all that extra hit points for free, getting the damage taken from mana instead, the overflow. If you're a fast caster, the Citadel is actually really good for like Colossus stacks. Like, let me even show you here. Like, if we go to Chilling Lake, one of them. Yeah, I think you can take damage from just standing in the ice here. So if you take a look with how our Colossus stacks and everything works, it actually works really well. So I can just stand here. The ice breaks, and then look how much damage I'm taking for. 4,000, 2,000, 4,000. You see it go into our mana, and then we're getting so many stacks of Colossus and everything that we're actually just able to just heal through anything. So you're never going to just stand there and take this much damage from something. But it's just a kind of testament to show you just how tanky the build really is. I'm interested to see if that damage mitigation works on this. It doesn't seem to work too much with the shield. But yeah, you're extremely tanky. So like you're just getting here for, I'm getting here for 4K over and over again there. Don't really feel anything. I'm not really expecting any damage nodes except for just the all res down there. And then a few of the mana ones, and we're already killing everything in Inferno just very easily. With like no problems, and not really any chance of really dying anytime soon. At least not Inferno. Go into Wormhole. Gonna run into some problems with that low res for sure, but we're just kind of running around Inferno. Kind of a cool little concept. Figured I'd show the relic build with it. Any of my characters work with the low res. but this is the one that I enjoyed the most with it because I like how the shaman passives work, especially with how much extra mana we get. And I just thought that this build was kind of cool for the season that I was using. Like the AoE that it does. All that kind of stuff. And then just to kind of show you here. At negative 673. It doesn't seem to affect you at all. As long as you have all these damage reduction nodes and you've kind of done what I showed in the build here, you're not really take too much damage. Okay, so that's it. That's the negative res build. I just figured it'd be interesting to show people that. I thought it was kind of funny. At first, I was just going to try it because I was like, I see those nodes on the tree. And I just want to see if they work. But once we started going into it and it actually kind of just going all in, it ended up working out really well. And it ended up being tankier and a lot more powerful than a lot of my other characters. And I was just like, holy. Like, I just couldn't believe how powerful it was. So it works out pretty good. If you're wanting to be the same kind of build, I know a lot of people like to just... Sometimes you're trying something, it's not working, you want to copy-paste things. So if you want to be the same kind of build, it's mainly... You're going to need damage reduction from things like the Gurag's Ring, which is pretty easy to get. Steve's Necklace, if you're trying to hit those damage reduction caps. Or you can just get some kind of... Get a shield that helps you with that. You can throw off the Terek's trade-off for a different pair of boots. There's a lot of different options you can do. But this is the setup I like the most. I already showed you the incarnation tree. And this is the gear we're going with. Let me get out of that tree. And then the charms are kind of non-negotiable. You kind of got to go with the Finger of Despair, Graxi's Charm, and then the Dybbuk Box. And then the Monkey's Paw for this particular build. But if you want to know what we've done for the actual tree here. So I've gone into Vitality like I showed you for doing the extra damage. The Intelligence build does a little bit more damage. But if you want to try out Vitality build, this is a good time to try it. You have so much HP. This is one of the only chests in the game that actually give you the increased magic skill damage for Vitality. And if you see when you 5-star it, the Vitality added as magic skill damage actually does go up. Not everything in the game does that. Like the Intelligence off of Arcanist Wrath doesn't do anything when you 5-star it. This one actually does go to 20%. Crystalden got the negative 22 to enemy fire resist. Figured that'd be kind of cool. If you do go this, make sure you use something like Lilith's Wrath, so when you're getting hit, you get the extra burning damage, you shoot the extra fire damage out. It does kill things in Inferno. I have to disable this, but I'll show you guys that at the very end of the video. Just kind of like as a little meme. But yeah, so Dragon Knight's Vanguard. That's why we're doing the Vitality. You can use whatever you want. I just want to try out Vitality build. Now, build's the same as it was. We're going for the passives. You notice we don't really put a lot of points into anything but passives here, and this is because the passives for the Shaman are extremely powerful. You got the HP mana, arcane skill damage, movement speed magic skill damage, and mana replenish. So these are all really powerful and they're pretty cool. And they increase all the damage and everything of your relics. Now, if you're just a shaman build and you're going to do this as a shaman, definitely just spec into the moves that you're using. Don't worry about going into these passives as heavy as I have. Now, I like to spec into every single skill, so I'll just show you them, each one of them real quick. So the Chaos one, we're doing the fires and multiple bolts here. It's mainly to get the elemental break on hit. Fire one went with the Fire Nova, since I like to stand in it and just have things hit me, just if you're trying that out. With the Dragon Chest. The Electricity one, I like to go with the attack speed. This is mainly if you're trying to use it to debuff and do like different debuffs for the targets and whatnot. And when I say that, I'm talking about more in this tree. You're trying to have a whole bunch of elements go off so you can have this Arcanist be up all the time. And the Paradox of Elements for the Arcane. And you're going to want to go things like what I was just showing there. As for the Earth Totem, I like to have the Arcane Break. These are the rest of the notes for you. The dogs, we're doing the stasis just because I wanted to have the Surge of Lightning in case I wanted to have stasis procs. But the Alpha Wolf's a lot easier to deal with. And if you're looking for the most damage, I've tried all of them a lot. And the Spiritual Rabies seem to be just a little bit more damage than the rest of them. Over here, just going for the tick frequency because I want it to wrap and pretty much entangle everything as fast as possible. Just making that as big as possible. Meteor Storm, pretty important one. You go for the Auto Seek. Travels towards closest enemy. Put more points into that. Take it out of duration. And go into range from hell if you're trying to just put the fire debuff up and you're fighting bosses. If you're running through maps, the Astro Head Shower Head is really nice. It just follows you around. And then whenever you get hit, you put that fire debuff on them, and then they already have the elemental break. So, kind of cool. Not needed, but it's some stuff you can do. And I like to spec in every single move as possible. Tornado. You're just doing the tornadoes shooting around you since you're pretty tanky build already. You just want the arcane break. That's all you're going for with this one. This one, you're going for the bleed. The reason why we're going for the bleed is because we have a few items that make us do more damage when things are bleeding. If you're looking for a way to get that to proc on your gear, this is one of the easy ways to get your bleed. I wish the dogs did it. Yeah. Oh yeah, the dogs do bleed. My bad. I even expected to it. I forgot about that. So yeah, the dogs will help you with your bleed as well. Other than that, that's pretty much all the moves there. That's going to be the incarnation tree for you. If you want to learn how to do the low res, this is going to be a good starter. I would start by coming down here, grabbing the low res to begin with, going up here, getting the damage to your mana and everything. Maybe even drop up over here and just get that damage reduction with the shield. Colossus stacks, and then you're good to go after that. You're going to have enough hit points that whenever you get hit, you won't get killed, and you'll be able to regenerate fast enough that it doesn't really matter. Alright, so that's low res build. If anybody's interested, I can go a little bit further with it. But this is what we've done so far. And I've been able to push into the wormhole pretty decent. Where is he in the wormhole? So yeah. Just like level 116 with... And I did it with this build here. Just kind of checking it out. So we didn't really die at all. Got done with what we needed, and we can go a lot further. 116 is not the maximum this can do for sure. This is where I went so far with it. All right. If anybody has any questions, I'll just kind of throw them into comments, and I'll answer anything I can. Hopefully, I went over everything that the build needs, though. And then, good luck. Good luck trying something out.